congratulations on getting that interview. I think you already know to arrive early, dress well, so I'm not going to cover those today. Today, I'm going to give you 10 tips to do great in your interview that you won't hear anywhere else. So listen till the end to get all your questions answered. So the first thing is how you think about the interview. Oh my God, I have an interview. That's how most people think about an interview. But you don't want to be like most people. You want to think of it like it's just a conversation. It's not an interview, it's a conversation. People get nervous before interviews because they think it's going to be the interviewer asking them lots of questions and them trying to give the right answers. Wrong. You should think of an interview as having a conversation with someone who is trying to get to know you. This makes it a lot less scary. It's just a conversation with someone who wants to get to know you, and you also want to get to know them. Don't skip this last part. You are also trying to get to know them. You're seeing if the company, the job, and the boss are the right fit for you. Now, the great candidates, they're not begging for a job. They know how to get a job in lots of places. They are seeing if they want to work at this company and if they want to work with this boss. Think about it like a consulting company. You're a consultant, they are your client. You are evaluating if you want to work with them. So if you change your thinking, instead of it being a scary interview, it turns into just having a conversation. You're just seeing if they would be a good fit for you and you would be a good fit for the company, and it takes a lot of the pressure off and you'll be a lot calmer and a lot more relaxed and more confident. Okay, so there are two things you want to get to know. The first is about the company. The second is about the people who are interviewing you. So let's talk about the first one. About the company, you want to see their website and the latest news that they have. On their website, you can look for how do they think of themselves? What are they going for? Are they the market leader in their industry? Do they have the latest technology? What image are they trying to give you from their website? What are they all about? What words are they using? What is their mission statement and vision statement? The words they use are things that you can use in your interview. For example, if they call themselves a leader in the field of technology and a global company with offices in 13 countries, you should talk about how you want to work for a leading global technology company. So when they ask you, why do you want to work for this company? You can say something like, I've worked for big global companies and small tech companies, and I want to work for a global company which has opportunities for me to progress so that I can further my career. You can also insert something about the latest news that you've found. For example, they just launched a new product, and you can say, I really like that new product you just launched. I'd love to work for a company that's doing innovative new products like that. And you say blah, 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 whatever that product is and what you like about it. So this should be genuine. It has to be something you admire about the company, something you can praise them about. Like, I want to be working with a company that's doing these kind of cutting edge projects. You can also say something from their values list. They're all about continuous improvement and growth. So you say, okay, I want to work for a company that values growth, that's going to invest in its employees and give us more opportunities. A company that's open to new ideas and constantly improving things. Learn about who you are talking to. Who will be giving the interview? Is it going to be somebody from HR? Is it going to be the hiring manager? Or is it going to be a technical interview with maybe an engineer? If you find out who the interview is with, you can look them up on Google. LinkedIn is a wonderful resource you can also use. And you can find out about their career and their background. Why? Because you want to connect with this person. You want to get to know them. The easiest way to stand out from all the other candidates is to make a connection with the interviewer. I call this going beyond the interview. Everyone who got invited to this interview, they're already qualified for the job. So you don't need to worry about that. You've made it. You've passed the selection criteria. The interviewer wants to see how good of a fit you are for the company. That's office language for, do they like you? Do they trust you? And do they want to work with you? So if you can find a LinkedIn profile or something about them online, you can try and look for anything that you might have in common with this person. If it's the hiring manager, did you go to the same university? Did you work at the same company before? Do you have any mutual connections on LinkedIn? Did they work in a similar industry to you before? Or did they have a similar career path? Anything. Do you have any hobbies, interests, groups that you're a part of? Did you live in the same city before or a different country you both lived in before? Anything that you two have in common. So then you want to bring this up in the interview. You don't want to say it like, hey, I spied on you online and I found out this. No. If it's not obvious from your CV, like maybe you lived in Singapore and it's not on your CV, you can bring that up in a conversation. For example, if they're from Singapore and you've been to Singapore, you should bring that up. You can use that to start a conversation. You can say, oh, I noticed that the APEC office is in Singapore. So does that mean there'll be an opportunity to go to Singapore? I went to Singapore once before and I really liked it. And I liked blah, 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 blah about Singapore. Okay? Fill in the blank. You can put in whatever you liked. So if you get one good question like this, you can get the interviewer talking for 10 minutes about themselves, about Singapore, or whatever question you asked. And that is 10 minutes that they're not asking you difficult questions. It takes the pressure off of you. It makes the interview easier. Hiring managers are the best people to do this with because sometimes they're not as practiced at giving interviews as the people in HR. The hiring manager is going to be your boss, so it's more important for you to develop a connection with them, see if you like them, see if they like you, and get an idea of what it's going to be like working with this person. How are they? What are they like? What kind of personality do they have? Unless, of course, you're applying for a job in HR. Speak their language. I'm not talking about English. I'm talking about buzzwords, acronyms, and jargon. HR stands for Human Resources. They deal with people management at the company. HR is an acronym. You should find any acronyms that the company uses on their website. So you can understand them when they ask you questions in the interview, but also so you can use them, and so they will think, yes, they speak the same language as me. They know the buzzwords. You understand. You get them. If you do this, you just place yourself above everybody else in the interview, because you get them. All the other people might be good on paper, but they don't get what this company is about, how they speak, how they act, what words people use in the industry. They don't know that, but you do. You get it. You can speak like a local, like a native, because you use these words, you use these phrases, you use these buzzwords correctly. You speak the same language as them. All those other people, they don't speak the language like you do. The job description will have acronyms in it. You should understand what all of these acronyms are. When they say that you'll mostly be dealing with the APEC office and our office in the UK, you need to know what APEC is. And you say, yeah, of course, every day I was in contact with the APEC office. Try and figure out what this job will be like before the interview. Do some research online about the job description. Then you want to bring a notepad with questions written down that you're going to ask the interviewer. It could also be printed out. And yes, it's perfectly fine to do this. It shows that you're well prepared, you've thought about some questions, and it will help you because in the heat of the moment, in the interview, it saves you having to remember them because you've got them written down. Then you can ask intelligent questions in the interview which show that you get it. For example, you're interviewing at a tech company for the role of a project manager. You've been a project manager before, so you know what challenges this role will face. Then you can ask questions like, one of the hardest things in my previous company was when we had these kind of projects and this happened. Blah, 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 fill in the blank. You can say, what does your company do in this situation? Or what do you normally do in this situation? And that shows that you understand this role. You understand what it is like to be a project manager. You ask them what their solution is or what they normally do. And you've had time to prepare before this a good answer yourself about what is a good solution to this problem. So then you ask them the question, and then they ask you, and what did you do in your company in this situation, or what would you do? Or afterwards you talk about what you did in this situation with your great story that you've already prepared. You know the difficulties, and you've got a great answer to one of the challenges that they may be facing. So now you've changed the conversation and you're leading the conversation. You're being asked questions that you want to be asked and that you've prepared great answers for already. Some interviewers, they don't even realize this, and they will follow along and happily let you lead the conversation, and you keep using all these great answers that you've already prepared and these topics that you want to bring up, you bring them up now. As long as you don't get too far off course or you start telling boring stories, you're onto a winner. So you want to get the interviewer talking about themselves. What would they do in that situation? And take any chance you get to put the focus back on them. Because if the focus is on them, it's not on you. And that takes the pressure off of you. It's a basic thing in psychology that people love to talk about themselves. So you just need to let them do it. Give them the opportunity. You can ask intelligent questions like, what are some of the challenges facing this department at the moment? And you can get them talking about their achievements. You give them the opportunity and they will go for it. You get them talking about what they are doing, what they have done, and all of their wonderful achievements. Before you know it, the interview is over. They've had their free therapy session, they feel good, they like you, they think you get it, and they want to work with you. They write down some positive notes about the interview, and they tell HR, I like that girl. They say, she really knows her stuff, and I think she'll be a good fit for this company. Smile, make eye contact, be charming. And don't forget, the interview starts from the moment you walk in the door until the moment you leave the building. When I say walk in the door, I mean enter the lobby, enter the entrance of the building, not when the interview starts, but when you walk into the reception. Any small talk while you're walking to the interview room is part of the interview process. This is the best time to try to make a good impression and connect with the hiring manager, or even with the receptionist or whoever is walking you into the building to the meeting room. Don't waste this time. This is a very good opportunity to connect. You can talk about current events, your hobbies, whatever. But everyone you meet, from the receptionist to the people walking by to the other interview candidates, they will have an opinion about you. And you don't know who people are. They could be your future colleagues. They could be people already working in the company that are interviewing to move to another department or for a promotion. So you might be working with them in the future and they might tell something to the hiring manager. You want to make a positive impression. So take off your headphones. Don't be talking on the phone. Don't be last minute cramming all the notes about the interview or about the job. This is a time to try and relax, get in a good mood, get in the right headspace. In the comments, you can let me know any questions you have or questions you hate being asked in interviews, and I will cover them in the next videos. Practice your interview skills with a friend. Do a mock interview. You can give them some questions to ask you. Practice connecting with them. Practice leading the conversation. Try and get them talking about themselves. Try and be charming. And have some fun. You can book a session with me online to prepare for your interview. The description has links to connect with me. Subscribe for part 2, where I will give you the strategy to answer questions with confidence. Don't forget to subscribe to get more great videos.